Good morning, everybody. Just a few quick comments, mostly the experiences I've had in the last week and some you might have had. Overall, I've had time to remind myself how thankful I am for the people I work with, my family, the community. Some of you may have had similar experiences, but I'm really thankful. Thankful to be here. So a couple things real quick. Adapting. I attended a webinar a couple of weeks ago, and the gentleman was speaking on a subject real estate related, but he paused for a moment, he looked up to the screen and he said, "Pardon me, but I have to thank my ancestors." He said, "I wouldn't be here today if it hadn't been for my ancestors." My gosh, that was true. He said, "My ancestors put up with a lot, war, famine, etc. They adapted to the environment around them, and thank you to my ancestors." That was rather striking to me. You know, talking about adapting, a lot of it has to do with doing things differently or doing different things. I've had a couple experiences this week with doing different things. And one doing something differently. So doing different things. I played a round of golf on Friday afternoon, 9 holes with a couple of buddies. I haven't played golf in 3 or 4 years. Typically golf for me has been a stress maker. Not a very good player, as some of you know. And I'm out with others that play better, and there's a lot of pressure. Either playing too slow, I'm spending time looking for balls, or on the first tee I've missed the ball and the people behind me are kind of chuckling. Real stress maker. I have to tell you, this last Friday afternoon, 9 holes, was a real stress reliever. I had a lot of fun with my buddies. Golf score, you'll all ask about that. Well, let me tell you, my 2 buddies, they are pretty good golfers. They actually were struggling out there because it had been a little while. I hadn't lifted a club in about 4 years. My golf score was about the same. I had a good day. And doing things differently. We launched our first CMU online course this last week. We're running 2 real estate courses, as most of you are aware. And that caused some stress on some of the instructors, the university, me, on how is this going to go. Exceptional launch. It just went, both the evenings went very well. And we continue on this week through the end of the semester. But what was interesting to me is at the first of the class, we asked the students how they're doing and what are their feelings on what's in front of us in terms of this virus and the economic downturn. Keep in mind, most of these students were spread out across the country. They left the college or university on spring break, intending to be gone only a week. Some of them left their vehicles here. They left a lot of their belongings here. They left their friends here. And now they're holed up in their parents' home, which they probably didn't intend to be, and they're a little bit worried about things in front of them. Keep in mind, these students, probably when we had our last downturn in 2007, 8, 9, were 7, 8, 9 years old. They have a totally different experience. This is the first one. It's causing some anxiety, but there was a lot of upbeat conversation there. Even with a couple of them having a job in place, they're graduating seniors and learning that their job had disappeared. They're still they're concerned, but they're staying positive. I was impressed with that. Quick update on Bray Cares Foundation. About 6 months ago, we decided to consolidate our escrow accounts, our trust accounts, our security deposit accounts, and channel those interest monies towards our Bray Cares Foundation. We talked with the Real Estate Commission. We're very compliant with that. We've arranged things differently, etc. And so now interest monies from probably 9 or 10 accounts within the company are interest is being directed to the Bray Cares Foundation. Annually, that'll be about $6,000 to $8,000 more a year that we can put out in the community. And yes, we're looking at things that we can do now that we can help fund where there's a great need. There are many that we know. And finally, I want to share with you an experience, another experience I had last week, first part of the week. I was out driving. I needed to make a turn at an intersection, and I drove straight through the intersection. I was not focusing on what was in front of me. Granted, I saw through that. I saw the intersection. I was looking straight, but I wasn't focused on making that turn. A little bit later that day, I did the same thing all over again. And I told myself, I'm letting things on the outside kind of distract me, take me away from my focus. So I thought, what could I remember that keeps me focused and remembering to focus? And so I thought of my hiking and jeeping trips. I love to jeep in the mountains. Anytime I'm jeeping, I have my binoculars in tow. These are my binoculars. And I love to watch wildlife. So if I can see something in the far distance, I'll pick up my binocs, I'll adjust my focus, and I'll dial in. I'll dial in on that beautiful bull elk or that cow elk with the calf. And not looking at anything or letting anything on the side distract me. I'm really focused on that. Now, sometimes we have to change our focus, but that decision is up to us. For instance, if a bear comes up in your binocs and you're viewing somewhere between you and the elk, you're probably going to focus on the bear. I would first. Now, if it was a bird, I'm not losing my focus on the elk. But a bear, I think I would say I need to maybe focus on that first, and then refocus on some other things, etc. With my abilities or lack of abilities, I typically need to focus on something first, one at a time, and then I can move on. Everybody's different. But I would, for me, I will be focusing on what's in front of me first, or making the best attempt. I hope that could work for you. Have a great week, and watch out for me at those intersections. Take care.